This is Chattersketch. I'm Sarah Mansinga, here to tell you a story and draw you a picture. Currently, Chapter 4. Looks like this is it. Barracks Building 10, Unit 34C. The gray strap gestures to a steel door. Bare metal shows beneath chipped green paint, which shows beneath chipped red paint. Thank you, I say, still feeling queasy. And it's not just that I vomited an hour ago. I'm not married. I should be married. I planned on being married. The gray strap grunts in reply, crumples a paper that surely had my barracks unit number written on it, and trudges off down the dark corridor. Gren is probably sleeping, resting from the climb, so I don't knock. Instead, I ease the door open, hoping the hinges won't groan. But the handle is jerked out of my fingers, and the door opens from the inside. I look up to find Sand's mother, Bessel, staring at me, cooking knife and partially peeled shell beet in her hand. "What are you doing here?" she demands. And oh no, the gray strap who assigned me to this unit must have simply looked up my family in the city records. Behind Bessel, Trenet and Sand also look at me in surprise. Trenet seems to be busy arranging reed mats on an upper bunk, and Sand sitting cross-legged on a lower bunk, surrounded by carving tools. I think he's sorting them. "Someone made a mistake," I say, trying to avoid Sand's gaze. I've already spent too much time thinking about him today. Their barracks unit is identical to the one Gren and I lived in last winter, with a tiny window, 2 bunk beds, and a narrow strip of shelving supposedly large enough to hold an entire family's belongings. I see the shelves here are already stuffed with fernflax thread for Bessel's weaving and bushels of food, such as underroot and savor pears. More food, tools, and clothes are crammed beneath the cots, behind the door, and piled on the empty 4th bunk. "I'm so sorry," I stammer. "I told them I always stay with Gren. Do you know where her unit is?" Bessel squints. "Why would you stay with Gren? Why wouldn't you stay with your husband?" I look past her to Sand. His eyes are also full of questions. "I didn't get married," I admit. "Why not?" Bessel presses, her voice hardening, sharpening. "I was sick," I tell her. Sand's mouth curls up at the corners as he moves 2 mallets into a kelpwood chest. "Why would it matter if you were feeling sick?" Bessel's face reddens. "No, I wasn't feeling sick," I say. "I was sick. All over the High Priest of Leros." Bessel gasps. Sand chuckles. And I grimace. Does anyone know where Gren Tia's unit is? Sand's eyebrows fly up, as if suddenly realizing something, and he peers out from where he sits on the lower cot. "You can't stay with her." "What? Why not?" I ask. He smiles the sort of bright smile I rarely see him use in Versailles. It's the sort of smile he wears while waiting on the beach, hiking around Coral Lake, or, I suppose, those few daring times with me near the dead boat. "Since you got married, or were supposed to, the Grey Straps made Gren share a barracks unit with the Renians." He looks at his parents. "I guess Nerene will have to stay here." His glittering eyes then return to me. How disappointing. Bessel rounds on Trenet. "No, this can't happen. I won't let this happen. I will not feed this girl or have her underfoot for 3 months. "Ugh, Bess, we'll figure it out." Trenet looks at me softly. "Nerene, I'd love to have you stay with us, but perhaps another family would be a better fit." Bessel nods so curtly, her frizzy knot of hair bobs. "Yes, you've got some experience caring for old people, and there are certainly other elderly folk in the barracks. Go on, go to the arch house and sort it out." "I'll come with you." Sand springs up from the cot. Bessel doesn't miss much, though. "Sand, I need you here." "And I'll be fine on my own," I say, edging out the door. "We'll be back before you know it." Sand grabs my hand and pulls me down the corridor before his mother can argue more. "So what really happened?" he asks, as soon as we're in the stairwell. The Olin's unit is on the top of their barracks building, 3 floors up. Bessel must hate that. "It happened just like I said. I felt hot. I was probably tired from the climb, and then by the time I'd cleaned up, the ceremony was over. A different priest finished the rest of the weddings." Sand stops halfway down a flight of stairs. "So now will you admit it?" he asks quietly, even though there's no one around. "You don't want to marry Carnos." "Yes, I do." Sand raises a single eyebrow. Your stomach doesn't seem to want to. I push past him and keep walking down the stairs. I didn't mean to be sick, and besides, nothing's changed. The priests say Carnos and I don't need to wait for the next tide. We'll just have to pay for our wedding, and as long as we don't mind getting married in a small temple, which is fine by me, it'll only cost 15 paper shells. I'm sure Carnos and I can raise the money at the barracks market. Sand keeps grinning at me. All right. Will you save money to marry someone who makes you sick? How about I save money to buy us passbooks? I already have a few paper shells from working at the motorliner track house. Don't, please, I tell him, because I don't want to know it's possible to run away. It's hard enough to make this decision. Sand's smile vanishes. Nerene, I won't stay here if you marry Carnos. I'm leaving no matter what. I was afraid of that. I'm just trying to protect you from, well, you can be so rash. Sand frowns. Are you saying you're trying to protect me from myself? And no, that's not it. But I can't say anything else because a group of unfamiliar Deeplanders are now clunking up the stairs with baskets of clothing and a crying toddling. People will still be arriving late into the night, especially from the villages that are further away from the mountain. We can't really talk freely outside either. The steep lanes between the barracks buildings are full of Deeplanders, either unloading wagons or disassembling them for storage. We walk quietly, and I suppose I'm fine with that. I am a little worried about what Sand might do to get his way, but at the moment, I just want to know where I'm sleeping tonight. Hopefully, Gren and I can be assigned an empty unit. I know she'll be disappointed that I haven't married Carnos yet, but I think she'll be relieved too. I'm sure she'd rather live with me than crowded in with the Renians. Sand walks in a bouncy, cheerful manner, and I try to ignore him as we make our way up the steep roads, through the barracks market, and over to the arch house. A tall fence runs around all the barracks buildings, and the arch house is the only way through it. The gate there has never been locked, at least not that I can remember. And I think its purpose isn't really to keep us Deeplanders trapped, but to remind the rest of Versailles that we aren't really like them. There are 5 gray straps on duty, and they're all busy. 2 are in the left wing of the arch house, sorting out arguments between new arrivals. Not all Deeplanders get along, and there are several families who hate sharing the same barracks building. The 3 other gray straps are assembling a wooden structure outside. I assume it's the platform for the Chancellor's annual Tidewater speech, which will probably happen tomorrow morning. Sand and I wait for several moments, and then I catch the attention of a female gray strap. Even though she has 2 gunner rifles on her hips, the frightening mechanical weapon of the city, she has a dainty look to her that I hope means she'll be understanding. Excuse me, I say, stepping into the arch house. I'm in the wrong barracks unit. I always stay with a salt pool elder named Gren. I help her cook and clean and run her market booth. I was supposed to get married this tide, but I didn't, so now I'm assigned to the wrong unit. The gray strap woman glances out the window of the arch house. It seems like I'm losing her attention, so I speak faster. Could you please put me in a unit with Gren? My name is Nerene Keel. Now the gray strap is staring at me without much of an expression. I think I overcomplicated my explanation, so I take a deep breath to start again. But before I speak, she says, "Do you have a unit assignment?" "Yes." "Who are you staying with?" "Her adopted family," Sand offers politely, and I want to step on his foot. Then I don't see a problem. There is a clatter outside. It sounds like the platform has collapsed. The woman's eyes flick over to the window again, and her eyebrows lower. I always stay with Gren, I say, feeling like I'm floundering. It would be unthinkable to stay with the Olins. Bessel hates me and Sand doesn't hate me enough. Gren needs my help, I add. She depends on it. Then check on her daily. The gray strap pushes past me and heads out the door, shouting, "No, I said that goes on the left side. Is that the left side? I think that's the I wasn't listening side." "I know how to solve your problem," Sand whispers as we head back outside. It's rectangular and has pages. I don't answer. I just stare at the barracks buildings, our prisons for the winter. All 12 of them stand in neat rows of 4. Yet from here they look uneven because they're built on such a steep slope. The setting sun makes one side of the tiled rooftops burn bright orange, while the other side simmers dusty red. Neri, I am sorry. Mostly sorry, Sand says gently. I don't like it when you're upset, and I wish you'd just trust me. I know we... He stops speaking abruptly, which is strange, so I turn around. I find him staring at the wooden platform, which the gray straps have finished assembling, podium and all. They're now hanging a large poster on the wall of the arch house. I'm used to seeing posters in the barracks, images that remind us to be in our homes before curfew, or images that encourage us to visit the three god temples. But none of those posters are this large or colorful. It seems to show a factory with Deeplanders lined up outside of it. There are also bright red words on the bottom that we can't read. Hey, what does that say? Sand asks the nearest gray strap. This? Says do your part. The man glares at us. Yeah, just you Deeplanders wait. And that's it for Chapter 4. I also have some news to share. My picture book is now available on Amazon. Just look for The Box by Sarah Mensinga. It's about some kids imagining what could possibly be inside a box that was just delivered to their house. And of course they imagine a lot of silly things, like rainbow-colored puppies and candy-filled robots. So be sure to check it out and let me know if you like it. I will see you next time on Chattersketch, where you can come for the art and stay for the story, or come for the story and stay for the art.